It was a night soaked in cold American rain, the kind of rain that doesn't fall but hangs in the air like a warning, clinging to the streets, the trees, the silence between distant traffic lights, and Emma noticed it long before she noticed the bear. Because the city usually never sounded this empty, yet tonight every sound felt swallowed, as if something was listening. And when she stepped into the alley beside her apartment building, she saw it lying face down in a puddle, a small teddy bear. Drenched in dirty water, its fur heavy, its body too still, but its eyes were clean, reflecting the streetlight brighter than glass should reflect, and she didn't know why she picked it up. She just felt she had to, like finishing a sentence someone else had started inside her mind, so she carried it upstairs, set it on the couch, and told herself she'd throw it away in the morning. Yet the moment she turned off the lights, the apartment felt occupied. Not louder, not colder, just aware, and sometime after midnight she woke to the sound of water dripping onto the floor even though the rain had stopped. Drip, 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 steady and patient, and when lightning flashed through the blinds she saw the bear sitting upright instead of leaning where she left it, facing the hallway, facing her bedroom, and she told herself she must have placed it that way and tried to sleep again, but the whisper came soft as breath. A voice shaped like her name yet formed without sound, and she sat up shaking, staring into the darkness until sunrise convinced her exhaustion had created it. Yet when she opened the door that morning the hallway carpet was wet leading directly to her apartment, small damp impressions shaped like paws, and she threw the bear into the dumpster outside, watched it land among trash bags, watched the lid close, and felt relief for exactly 7 seconds before turning around and seeing it back on her couch. Dry, perfectly clean, watching the door as if it had been waiting for her return, and the silence in the apartment thickened into pressure, her ears ringing, her chest tight, her reflection in the television screen half a second delayed behind her movement, smiling when she wasn't, and that night the rain returned harder than before, hammering the windows while the lights flickered in slow pulses, and she heard scratching from inside the walls moving room to room, always stopping wherever she stood. And when she finally gathered courage to grab the bear, its fur felt warm, warmer than her own skin, and it trembled slightly like breathing, and she dropped it, but it didn't fall immediately. It hung for a fraction of a second in the air before landing upright, head tilting, mouth stretching wider than stitches should allow, revealing darkness deeper than a throat, deeper than a shadow. And the whisper became clear inside her skull, telling her it had waited through storms and tenants and years and loneliness, and now she could see it. And the walls began sweating, black moisture sliding downward like ink, pooling at her feet as the apartment smelled of wet soil and rust, and every memory of childhood comfort twisted into dread as the bear stepped forward, leaving scorched marks on wood, its tiny limbs bending wrong, moving in jerks between frames of reality, closer each blink, closer each breath, until she ran for the kitchen searching for fire, because somewhere she knew rain things feared flame, hands shaking so violently she could barely strike the lighter. Yet when the flame caught, the shadows recoiled violently, and the bear screamed not loudly but infinitely, as if distance itself cried, and she hurled it into the circle of candles she barely remembered arranging, flames wrapping around its soaked fur which burned without turning to ash, stretching instead into shapes of reaching arms trying to crawl free, the apartment shaking as thunder answered its shriek. And for a moment she believed she was winning until its eyes locked onto hers through the fire, promising patience, promising return, promising it did not travel through streets but through storms and through people who noticed it. And then it collapsed into smoke, leaving the room dry and silent and ordinary, weeks passing peacefully until she almost forgot, until months later during another quiet rain she opened her door and found the same soaked bear sitting patiently on the welcome mat, for dripping, eyes shining brighter than the hallway light. And this time she understood the truth. She had never found the bear in the rain. The rain had delivered her to it. And now wherever she lived, wherever storms traveled, it would follow, waiting for the night she finally stopped running.